Ah yes, the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Nicknamed by Sir Jackie Stewart the Green Hell, and as a track responsible for Lauda's near-fatal accident and more than 70 deaths since opening in the 1920s. Originally it was built as a sort of, well, government issue project to help workers with their work, because back in the 1920s Germany was on an economic downturn, in a recession, and these large government funded building projects actually helped stabilize the economy a little bit. Interesting things when governments start caring about infrastructure all of a sudden again. Yeah, and honestly, the Nürburgring is a track that, from my personal view, I don't really care about. So, yeah, I think it's an impressive piece of road from an engineering perspective. I mean, doing this kind of work in the 1920s and placing a road there in the Eifel region, which is very mountainous, is a great feat of engineering and building prowess. No questions asked. And driving this place on my own simulator rig makes it also a fantastic kind of experience, and I understand the public interest in it, where people go there, use the public access Touristenfahrten and drive their nice cars there. I totally get that. It's a nice piece of track, but honestly, whenever I am watching the 24 hours of Nürburgring or the NLS races, because they are streamed on YouTube, which is very nice, then I think to myself, what is the appeal of the racing there? Because in my opinion, the racing is always a little bit shit. Due to the narrow nature of the track and the winding nature of these mountain roads, you have no real overtaking opportunities, maybe one or two here and there if you place your car correctly. But interestingly enough, this year, when Max Verstappen first drove his GT3 Mercedes in NLS2, I think it was 3-hour race if I recall correctly. So then I finally understood a little bit of the appeal. And I finally understood that racing on the Nürburgring, yes, it's maybe a lot of following closely behind. But due to the challenge of this 20.8 kilometer long track that you have to navigate with 73 corners, so much elevation change, and honestly so many hazardous zones, it is just fascinating that you can still have a very close race there, and you can still have good battles there on the racetrack between GT3 cars that are normally suited for, let's call it like it is, more normal tracks and more normal racing stuff. And it is fascinating for me that Verstappen, as a Formula 1 driver, takes an interest there, goes over, and is immediately fast. But I mean, Verstappen is a one-of-a-kind talent, generational talent, so yeah, it is no surprise, really. But anyway, the challenge always with the Nürburgring has been, for like us TSU players, yeah, the GP track used to exist in I think 2 different versions, one from Tranin and one from Dremet, not Dremet, one from Cyber. And yeah, the Cyber version was a little bit more refined because Cyber kept working on it and improved it. And yeah, that was it. The GP track was nice, but the whole Nordschleife was only available from a mod from Hatara, I think. And let's face it, this mod was not really refined. I mean, Hatara did the best he could. He crammed the whole layout of the Nordschleife into the space where it doesn't belong, and due to the scaling down, the track lost a little bit, or like all of his charm and detail and interesting character, as you should see right now with the gameplay in the background. But then Dremet of all people stepped out. I mean, I know Dremet for a long time from Circuit Superstars, and he built 1 or 2 tracks, even like his Trackmania campaign and stuff like this, but I never had him down as like big track builder guy, at least in TSU. And then he stepped in and said, screw it guys, I'm doing it myself. And his version of the Nordschleife is maybe one of the best examples what creative track building in TSU can do. And the Nordschleife.Zip, so the compacted Nordschleife, is just a fantastic track. Obviously, if you look at the layout side by side, you would say, hey, the one is one track and the other one is the Nordschleife. These two have nothing in common. But Dremet achieved, in my opinion, the most miraculous thing, where he copied the important stuff from the Nordschleife and took them into a layout of a track that, while completely being different from the Nordschleife, it still exactly feels like the Nordschleife. And you only realize the slight iteration changes if you compare them side by side. And this is just impressive, really, because if we do, like, let's do a corner by corner comparison. I have exampled 9 different corners where I think that Dremet nailed them completely. Of course, not one by one, and if you know the Nordschleife like the back of your hand from back in the day with Gran Turismo, from other simulators like I did in Race Room or iRacing or whatever, then you would say, hey, that isn't the same thing, but then you would say this about every track that's ever been done in TSU, no matter the quality of the build track. And honestly, I mean, we can have a look at the start area of the Nordschleife. I think this is copied really good. Even the weird ass narrow pit lane is there. We have the Sabine Schmitz Kurve, which is turn 1 of the Nordschleife, which is done in a not complete detail again, but it is definitely recognizable. We have Hatzenbach, that if you see it side by side, you say, yeah, that's the same thing. Arenberg Kurve, which I always spin out in Race Room, or at least to the approach of it, is very well done and very recognizable. The Fuchsröhre, for example, is also like the next thing. It has the entry with the bridge, it has the exact same kind of feeling that I get in Race Room and in TSU. Then we have Wehrseifen with on the original track all the graffiti on the ground, and here in Dremet's version with the High Cyber written on of it. Then we have the Steilstrecke, for example, which is very recognizable. We have the Karussell, which you see this in TSU and say, hey, that's the Karussell from the Nordschleife. We have Pflanzgarten 1, which is also super recognizable, and of course the Döttinger Höhe, with the Nürburg Castle in the background. And this is all there, and you see it and you drive on it and you know it's the Nordschleife. And then you go on Cam 8 or Cam 9 and you look at the playable area and think, you know, that's not the Nordschleife. And it's amazing how Dremet copied the feeling of the track and said to himself, hey, I just need a feeling, I don't need one-to-one copy of the layout. And I think this is something which we should do way more in TSU. Is it important to have like a bar first that's completely one-to-one copy with the exact same corner layouts and stuff like this? No, it's not. You should break down tracks to what makes them to what makes them recognizable. For buffers, for example, it would be like the panorama section on top of the mountain, the Conrad Strait, and into the chase. Maybe also include the dipper that is done in a good kind of way, and like the turn 1 and 2, the 90 degrees, and turn 3 up the hill, then into the mountain. That is also good. But do I need a complete true version of Bathurst in TSU? No, then I would play Race Room, for example. Nobody needs to go to the hassle through there to create that in the track editor. They could just laser scan it and have fun with it. The other game studio done it like 50 times. And Dremet did this fantastically with the Nordschleife. He took a track that is not achievable in the slightest. I mean, Hatara proved it as a good racetrack in TSU. Sorry, Hatara, again, you did a fantastic job, but it just doesn't work out for the cars that I like in TSU. So, yeah, Dremet did a fantastic job building this track. Why not building this track, if you get me? And to celebrate this even more than we already did, and I have to quickly grab here Discord and look at the event that I set. I want to celebrate the Nordschleife. I want to celebrate the Nordschleife.Zip, to be more specific. And I want to do this on the 18th April. Hello, Editing Paladin here. I forgot that on Saturday there is also the IndyCar race. So the 2.4 hours Nordschleife.Zip race will happen on Friday the 17th at 20:30 PM CEST. With all of you together. Let's have a big fun event, and let's do it properly. Let's do it with, as the guy from Futurama would say, with a little bit hair on the chest. Let's do a 2.4 hour race that should come down to 144 minutes when I calculated it last. Let's do a 144 minute race. It should be around 45 laps on the Nordschleife.Zip. Let's use the Group T cars, because let's face it, I'm a one-trick pony. I can drive Toyota and nothing else, and the other guys get the cars that they always choose. By the way, I tried Buick. It is not so easy. I am contemplating of doing a special prize for Buick drivers only. More info on that maybe in a separate post on the Group T Discord or something like this. But yeah, let's do a proper event on the Nordschleife.Zip. Let's race for 2.4 hours, nearly 2.5 hours. Let's do one lap qualifying, because over this duration of time qualifying doesn't matter. We used the Group T tires because I finally found a suitable combination. Maybe we increased the duration a little bit. Let's have some damage, let's have some fuel, and then we go on there and have a great party. And if I do it correctly, then hopefully Finlay can broadcast it. And yeah, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun on this great track, and honestly on this great interpretation of a track that is in some aspects maybe a little bit cooler than even the real life stuff. Honestly, because we can enjoy it all together on TSU, a game that is purpose built for great online racing, and let's use it for that. Let's have some fun together again. And yeah, again, on the 17th. Start time to be determined. Let's come together, have some fun on the Nordschleife.Zip, and celebrate this great track mod properly together as a community. And with that, I have been Paladin. This is Into the Hairpin. I hope you liked this video, and see you on the next one. Paladin out.